The Detroit Lions get the guy everyone else wants and whatever everyone else is looking for in the draft. And the guy I'm talking about is Giovanni Manu. And I'm going to show you why trading up for him and getting him in the fourth round, not a stretch at all, not a reach, not a bad move by Brad Holmes, but actually quite the opposite and really smart. So if you look at it, Giovanni Manu, 6'7, 352 pounds. Now, and we'll get to a couple more things here, but just stop right there. 6'7", 352. And if you've seen any pictures of him, he's not fat. Like he's not at 350 pounds. He just is an athletic. His legs are huge. He carries that weight like kind of like Shaq, back in where Shaq was 300 and whatever pounds. And it's like, well, he's not like, he's just Shaq. He's 7'2" and just a monster. That's what he is. And so here's the thing about him. He wasn't invited to the scouting combine. No surprise there. But reportedly had 11 pre-draft visits with teams. So a third of the NFL teams were looking at him, including Detroit, and performed pretty well at his pro day, where his 40 time in vertical would have put him in the 90th percentile among tackles at the combine. So he was well known. And if you look at the tackles, this is a list of the tackles that went in the 2024 NFL draft. There was 25 of them in total. Yeah, is that right? 25 total tackles that went. So that's roughly, one per team. And yeah, it's basically one per team. I mean, there's a couple, I thought I saw a couple that, doubled up. Bills doubled up on tackles late. I think there was, one. So basically every team took a tackle. And so what that tells you is that it's a very important position and it's one that everybody's trying to get right. So Brad Holmes, what he's doing is he's looking towards the future, which is really hard to do in football, is to look towards the future, play the long game while also taking care of your immediate needs and trying to win now. Like every NFL franchise is trying to win now, no matter what they say. It's too hard of a sport to, tank or just be like, this year we're just like, you're trying to win now. But Brad Holmes takes injured players, like Jameson Williams knew he was going to sit for a year. Fine. We're playing the long game. He's taken other injured players that just not going to be available this year, but next year, right? So this is one of those guys. But what you're really wanting in a tackle is one that's big, strong, athletic, can move, but has the size, right? So Giovanni Manu checks all those boxes. Where you look at some of these other guys, Jordan Morgan, Blake Fisher, there's a couple others I looked up that went before him so already the guys that went after him, I'll just stay at the guys that went before him. The guys that went before him, even Joe Alt is like a bigger guy that is not as athletic as Manu. So Manu is a guy that's more athletic than these guys with the size that you can develop and teach, because he has not played at high level football. So it's very hard to just be like, yep, cool, this is going to work. It's like, not this year, but you can see everyone's trying to find a tackle. It's too important of a position, because the reason it's so important is because you cannot afford, the pass rushers are so good, and you cannot afford to let up and give up a sack, big play, injuries, strip sack, problems over on that side, on either tackle as you're coming across the edges. So it's blindside type stuff on either side, depending on your quarterback. But it's so important because as an offensive coordinator, you're constantly putting extra resources to stop catastrophic play from the defensive end. That is where the big plays happen. So you're constantly wanting to chip tight end over there. But with the Lions, you see it. The Lions have, let's see right here, Penei Sewell, the best tackle in football. So what does that allow you to do? It allows you to you just don't even think about it. Ben Johnson doesn't think about those defensive ends on Penei Sewell's side. It's not even a thought, doesn't have to think about it. That is the goal. And that's what every team in the NFL here is trying to do. You can see 2023, 19 tackles were taken. 22, there was 22 tackles taken. 21, there was 27. So it's about, I mean, it's 20 out of 32 teams each year take a tackle. 20 of the 32 teams. So it's just it's an important position that you have to take. So you're like, all right, what's the deal with him? So Giovanni Manu is one of the most intriguing prospects. It remains unclear if Manu will play tackle or guard. He said he was going to play guard. The idea of him lining up as an OL6, so offensive lineman 6, where you saw Dan Skipper going in motion and doing things last year, which was just like, let's go. In jumbo sets, alongside Penei Sewell is a fun idea, but I think he could be a frequent inactive. As of now, I do not believe he is game ready. This was always a move beyond 2024. Do not panic. 100%. So when he doesn't play and be like, what the heck? Well, he gave up a 3rd round pick next year to come up and get him, which I also thought that was a really good trade. I don't know, because you're getting, anyway. I still think teams are dying for this. So think about some of these pillar type players that Brad Holmes is like, I'm just going to go get that. It doesn't matter when, where, if they're ready now. You've got a pillar tackle in Penei Sewell, pillar defensive end, Aiden Hutchinson, receivers, Amon-Ra, but really Jameson Williams, that speedster that everyone is trying to find. You can't just go get this guy in free agency. A guy like Jameson Williams, that's just an absolute burner. A absolute star at running back. Right now, you just added another absolute star, hopefully, at tackle in Manu. So that is Brad Holmes is like, just get these core pillars when we can. It doesn't matter when we take them, and it doesn't matter how we get them. We have to get them. And then if they're not ready now, it's fine. We'll use them later. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I think everyone's looking for these pillar type players. This is the one we had to have. We get Manu, and his coach was on a long interview and just went through a bunch of things. Manu was on a long podcast and some of the things that stood out to him. But I was taught the values of being humble, being true to myself, the family aspects. That's huge Polynesian culture. So he fits the locker room, everything. It's just like, it doesn't matter what it costs. Go get them. And you've got a pillar type player for a long time to come. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. We talk all Lions here on this channel, and we'll see all of you on the next one.